Nick speaking, and welcome to this live stream. And if you're new to the channel and you want to learn about Necrons and more, then please subscribe and hit the bell button to turn on all notifications so you don't miss an upload. Right, welcome everyone. I've got a new camera angle, and the reason for that is I'm not showing you anything on the computer. I'm literally going to talk to the camera, and at the same time I'm going to paint. So, of course, we're here to discuss the Necron pre-orders, which we now know, excuse me, which we now know is going up on the 3rd of October, ready for release on the 10th. So, exciting times. Right, let's have a look, see who is in the chat. We've got Kyle Knight. Welcome, Kyle. Kevin Kirk. We're here. We are here. And here's a big Necrons, because we can. Okay, so I am going to do some hobby, and I'm going to be doing what's in here, which is basically sprue Necron crystals, which desperately need painting, because I am painting all of my Indomitus Necrons 2 sets, which has been fun. I've actually taken a week off work, and I'm off this week, and I'm hoping to finish my painting. And the great thing about my new camera setup is this. Hey! So there we go. That is how I'm getting on. I'm doing very well, actually, to be fair. Let's just move this back again. Okay, so yeah, I'm making a vlog, of my painting these miniatures, and to be fair, it's quite a long vlog. At the moment it's racking up to an hour and a half long, so I'd imagine it's going to be a 2-hour video by the time I've finished. Not sure how many people are going to watch, but yeah, it's been good, because it's really motivated me to keep painting them. Let's have a look in the comments. Mr. Scrawn Juan. I'm currently working on magnetising a Forge Fiend, my Thousand Suns. Pretty cool. So excited about the Codex, I can't wait. We have the Hobby Corner. Hello, hello. What's going on here then? Well, I'm going to do something quite unusual. I'm going to vlog me being live. How about that? Okay, here we go. Okay, we are live. Here's everyone. Here's their comments. We've got the Hobby Corner. We've got Calm Plains. Long videos are the best to watch whilst hobbying. Excellent, because this video is long. Okay, back to the live stream. Right, that's going to end up in my vlog. That should be fun. Greetings to Hodron. Apologies if I get your names wrong. It's very difficult when things are scrolling, and I'm not the best at pronouncing stuff, as you already know anyway. Necrons from Bulgaria. Hello there. Right, we've got 62 people watching, and if you are watching, then please press the like button, because that really helps me out and I do appreciate it. Right, so let's get some paint onto my palette. I've made some notes, so we've got something to talk about. So I've talked about my vlog, my hobby, which I'm hoping to finish these Necrons before the Codex comes out. And now we know the date, which of course is the 10th of October. I'm almost guaranteed to finish them. I'm using Caliban Green, going to paint the crystals. I've already primed them black, so I need to go over all of them with this colour before I can highlight them. So yeah, hopefully I will finish before the Codex comes out. Now, we've of course had some reveals of what is coming for the pre-orders, and that's the first topic which I'm going to talk about here. We are then going to move on, have another chat about Reanimation Protocol, and some other stuff as well about 9th edition, my experience so far, the games that I've played, and moving forward, what I'm hoping and expecting to happen. So the way I'm going to paint these crystals, because it's quite difficult to sort of handle them is got a paint pot with some blue tack on, faithful blue tack, the hobbyist's best friend. I'm literally going to push them into the blue tack, paint one side, and then I'll turn them over and paint the other side. Unfortunately, I just started to put together 10 more fighters of Immortals. It is a long way to paint them. Yeah, I mean, painting just takes forever, and you'll see from my vlog how much time I've put into painting these things, but it's been a lot of fun, and it's been very cool to have new Necrons to paint. Really, really fun, and it's great to have something to paint, like my Scorpec Lords. Let me bring one of these in so you can see. Which one? This one. My Scorpec Lord, painting him similar to my old Necron paint scheme, but also allowing me to add other things to it, you know, new stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing these guys off and putting them on their base. Okay, so we've got paint on the palette. Let's put a little bit of water in that. This message is how to review. Nick, good to see you. I don't know why that's how to review for review. Nice to see you, Malaga. Yes, I think that's it. We've got a good day, Nick, from Wargaming. Hello there. How are you? I like how everyone who doesn't play Necrons will tell you how easy they are to paint. Yeah, well, I think to be fair, compared to other miniatures, they can be quite easy. I mean, I've got 75 miniatures that I'm painting here, including Illuminor, and I've painted these basically in 4 weeks. Although yes, I've had 2 weeks off work, but my 36 Noise Marines that I painted, yeah, that's 700 hours, 18 months. So I think Necrons probably are easy to paint. Okay, let's get painting. I'm going to put this light on. I don't know how it's going to affect the video. That's not too bad. Okay, here we go then. So, pre-orders. So we know the date and we know what's coming. And the first thing that's coming is, of course, the Codex, which is now £30. So I think previously they were 25, so they've gone up £5. You get that code so you can use it in the app. Not that I use the app, but I think that's their justification for the new price. But let's face it, the Codex isn't £30, is it? It's £45 because you also need the data cards. Well, you don't need them, but they are almost essential. So effectively, it's a sneaky way of Games Workshop upping the price of the Codex. It's going to be £45 to get the Codex effectively with the data cards, which you almost do need, you know, otherwise you're going to be referring back to the book quite a lot, which is a bit of a pain. Actually, I don't even need this. Let me move this. I don't think I need this magnifying glass for this work because it's just painting crystals. Also painting Illuminor. Actually, I do. I can't see a thing. Okay, I think I just need the light, not the magnifying glass. You can tell that I don't paint on camera much, can't you? That's it. I just need the light, not the magnifying glass. Okay. So, on top of the Codex and the data cards, we've got new Necron dice, which is great to see. They look pretty cool as well. I like the way the new dice has a symbol on the 1 and the 6, although arguably that could be a little confusing for your opponent. But it's better than having the symbol just on the 1. So yeah, new dice is coming. It's £20 for a set of dice. I assume that's 36 dice, is it? You get in one of those little pots, or is it 12? I'm not sure actually. I don't usually buy dice, and obviously I have a lot of Games Work, a lot of Necron dice already, which I had custom made. Can somebody tell me how many dice you get for the £20? Be quite interested in that. obviously I'm going to get the Codex. Actually, I'm going to get everything, and I'm going to get it all from Mike's Gaming store. He's doing a good deal, and he's a member of the Wargamers Unification Facebook group. And yeah, it's just a little shop, and just got to support him. And he's doing up to 25% off. I think 25% off the model boxes. I think it's 15% off the books. I put a link to his website in the comments there, so you can check it out for yourselves. But yeah, if you can support somebody which you know, and I know Mike through the Facebook page, then why not? So I'm ordering all of my stuff from him, which will be pretty cool. So I am going to order some dice. We'll see if we get them or not. I know sometimes they can be quite hard to get hold of, the dice. And then, of course, the big bad boy, the Silent King, which is £95. Obviously recommended retail price. But yeah, £95. I think we almost knew it was going to be about £100. That model, I mean, it's a big model. There's 3 parts to it, and it was always going to be an expensive one. So no shocks there, really. He's kind of good, not great. I'm not sure who they're talking about, but yeah, the Silent King. Definitely, obviously, getting one of those, and there's no point getting 2, because I'm sure you'll only be able to take one of them. And then we've got the Locust, not Lockhurst, Nick. The Locust Destroyer, which is £21, and of course that's just going to be for 1. So I'm going to be ordering from Mike 3 of those to give me a unit. That would be pretty cool. I'm assuming they're going to be in units of 3 still. I mean, obviously, if not, and I need more, then I can get more at a later date. But at least I'll have some on the day of release, and I'm planning on making some unboxing videos, etc. So that'd be pretty cool. Guns Smiles says Necrons. Got to do in capital letters. Dragon would be interesting, but I think I'll be broke by the end of the month. I think we all will be. But as I said, Mike's Gaming Store, get some discounts. Shouldn't be so bad. Okay, and then next up we've got the Doom Stalkers. That's those done. So I am going to move to another pot. And the Doom Stalkers are £26.50. Quite an unusual price with the 50p there. However, what that's telling me, potentially, because I've always thought this, despite what everyone is saying about the pictures, is that I think he's the same size as the Reanimator. £26.50. I think if it was a much bigger model, it would be more expensive. Don't pre-order now, Nick. Wait for Christmas. Yeah, I want to put up videos as soon as I can on all the new stuff. So I'm thinking the Doomstalker is going to be not bigger than the Reanimator, or if it is, it's only going to be just a little bit bigger. Obviously, from the pictures that have been posted, it looks massive, but I think that's just perspective, where the model is much closer than the Reanimator, which is quite far away. So I'm going to be ordering 2 of those for now, 2 of the Doomstalkers, and that should keep me going. So yeah, I am really looking forward to getting these miniatures. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's been a very long time since I had a new Necron miniature from Games Workshop. Obviously the newest one which we had, which was quite some time ago, was the Canoptic Cloak Tech, and that's been it for a very long time. So yeah, it's going to be just awesome to have some new miniatures. So let me know in the comments box, what are you going to pre-order? Are you pre-ordering everything? Just one of each? Or are you going to get multiples? If you get a Reanimator and some Ghost Arcs, you didn't magnetise, I know what you can do with that gun now. Yes, yeah, if you've got a spare Doomsday Cannon thing, then potentially you could convert it, although I think it is a bit smaller, but you might be able to cut it down. I might just get the Codex and data card. I want a Psychomancer. Yeah, they're going to be coming afterwards, along with all the other stuff. So the Monolith is still to come. The Hex Destroyer still to come. And still no word about the standard destroyers, although I have seen a picture somebody posted. I'm not quite sure how they got it, but they bought or received a new kit in Games Workshop with the destroyers in, and the green rod was replaced with a plastic grey rod. So potentially the standard destroyer kit that we know at the moment will just stay the same and have a plastic rod rather than a green one. Potentially. We'll have to see about that. The new Necron dice look like fun. Are you guessing any? I do have a lot of Necron dice, but I am going to order some from Mike, just because I know I'll regret it if I don't. It's Necron dice. You can't have enough Necron dice. In my experience, Games Workshop dice haven't been very good. They've been very difficult to read, but it's just the fact of having them. And you could use them just for certain dice rolls, maybe, if you wanted to. Nick, £21 for one destroyer, expensive. Well, it means you're going to be spending, if you buy it direct from Games Workshop, £63 for a unit of 3. How much are they at the moment? It's been such a long time. I know I paid £10 for my heavy destroyer. But that was many years ago, so I don't actually know how much they are at the moment, but it's probably about £20 for one of those. It's Games Workshop, it's always expensive, and it's a new model, so we've got to pay for the designing and the injection molds and all the other stuff. £15, but you can buy 3 for 30. Okay. 3, yeah, but then you've got to buy the upgrade kit, haven't you? So you buy your destroyers at the moment, so then you have to buy that stupid Finecast upgrade kit, which I think is a £5. So that's £45. The Reanimation Protocol is an ancient mystery. Okay, obviously you guys which are not in the UK, yeah, these models are very expensive in some of your countries, I've been reading, and I do feel sorry for you. Oh, the worst. My heavy destroyer resin gun is so what? Yeah, they're disgusting, aren't they? I've been looking on eBay and getting metal ones when they crop up. I think I bought one for like £2 not that long ago. I haven't used it yet, but I was sort of saving them up because at the moment I've got one original heavy destroyer squad, the green rods, and then I've got the conversion that I did using the really old destroyers into heavy destroyers, and then I'm going to have, well, depending on how all the rules are, of course, then I'm going to have one unit of the new heavy destroyers. So I'll be able to play a game and have all 3 generations of heavy destroyers. That will be cool. I'm looking forward to actually mixing the new miniatures with the old ones and playing games with them. I got 4 meta ones at once, 27 a piece. Absolute lucky find. Awesome. Yeah, it's great when you find stuff really cheap. That's how I got into Aldar. I've got an Aldar army, if you didn't know. I was walking home from work, walked past a charity shop, and in there was a box of Guardians and a Farseer, and they were going really cheap. I think it was like £5 or something. So I walked in, bought them. The next day I went and got the Eldar Codex and started an Eldar army, or Craft Worlds as it's now called. I had bought 9 destroyers, but I'd gladly resell them for those knee thick boy Locust heavy destroyers. I managed to find a metal Necron Scarab. The little Scarab extermination tables. I've always seen them on eBay, but I've never actually bought one, but they do look really cool. Do we know when we're getting the Locust light destroyers? We don't know much about them, except, as I was just saying, we've seen somebody with a sprue where the green rod has been replaced by a plastic rod. So maybe they're not going anywhere, just having a rename in the codex, potentially. Oh my giddy aunts, the Void Dragons a must. Take in my Necron army thou. It's a very cool model, and well, obviously I did my video yesterday, and just having that ability like Thraka has is very much needed. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm more interested to find out what they do with the Nightbringer and Deceiver, especially the models. We are going to talk about rules in a minute, but yeah, something I wanted to say really was, for me, 9th edition and this new Necron release is just so fun and exciting, and just having all this new stuff is just so cool. The rules are almost second. They're coming second for me because I've been playing Necrons for nearly 20 years now, and I started in 3rd edition when the Codex was like really strong, like so strong, and that Codex lasted for 10 years and got really hard to play with after 10 years. And then, of course, I saw the change with the introduction of the dynasties. And then we've seen the 7th edition Decorian, where they got good again. And then, of course, 8th edition. The rules come and the rules go. I'll still play them regardless. I'll still try my best to work out tactics to help me along the way. I play Necrons for Necrons. It doesn't really matter what the rules are. And in some ways, if the rules aren't super powerful, I think actually that's probably a good thing, because I'd like to see people playing Necrons because they love Necrons, not because they're the latest hot army. I just got tagged. Let me see if I scroll up. Do you think the Necrons will be competitive this edition? I think they'll hold their own. I think, as usual, there will probably be limited army builds, but that always happens when you sort of end up playing a Xenos army. If you look at Space Marines, they have so many builds, and mainly because everything's good. With Necrons and other armies, it's all about continuity of the army working together. Sometimes in a competitive scene, you end up then with limited builds. Given the new reanimation protocols, do you think there will be a stratagem? Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about the reanimation protocol roles in a minute. Let me just finish these crystals. Hey, we're getting there. I'm not sure exactly how many I've got. It's one of those things, it doesn't look like many, but there's actually probably about 50 in there. And when you say you've got 50 crystals to paint, that's a bit mind-boggling. I like to play Necro Blobs, and I think these rules are going to be good for Blobs. Well, absolutely, and it brings me back to something which I, at one point, thought was really odd that Games Workshop said it. When we first heard about the new Necrons coming and they released the Warriors, they described Necrons as a horde army. I mean, not just in the live stream. This was in text on the Games Workshop website, a Necron horde army. And well, maybe we now know why, because I think Necrons are going to be a horde army. Hello, Frost and Fists. Hi there, is that Mythos? I'm hoping this move's giving the Xenos race a lot of love. I hope it lets a precedent for other alien races. So yeah, I think warrior blobs, potentially immortal blobs with the characters, are going to be quite prominent on the battlefield. But yeah, let's talk about the reanimation protocol rule. So the first thing I need to do is say that, of course, in my video yesterday, I got it a little bit wrong. I made that video literally without reading the post because I was so excited, and a lot of the time I like to give a natural reaction to something. So I made that post video and read the post. Excuse me, croaky voice. I read the post and I got very confused. And then I went to Facebook, and everyone seemed to be very confused on Facebook as well. So I read it and did the best that I could with it at the time. And then the first time that I saw the video back and I saw the rules on my video, then I realised that it actually said reassembling miniatures. So it's not the whole units, wounds, it's the models which are reassembling. So yeah, I got that wrong, but well, it didn't seem to bother too many people. I didn't get many comments on that. I think people appreciated that the situation. Hi Nick, hi community, hi tactician. So, RP. I've just got my notes here. I've got 3 pages of notes just to make sure I don't miss anything that I wanted to say. So I've corrected my error. Okay, so I think the thing to bear in mind with this new RP rule is that there's still more to come. We have to remember, we still don't know the living metal rule. We still don't know what a resurrection orb does. We still don't know what rites of reanimation does. We still don't know what stratagems we're getting. And I'm sure there's probably other rules in there which we also don't know about. So I think it's far too early to panic about anything, but quite clearly from the rules which we've got so far, multi-wounded models are badly affected by this, because if a destroyer goes down with 5 wounds, you've got to roll 3 5s, maybe 4s if you can buff that, to get that destroyer back. So if you roll 2 4s and a 1, well, unless you can re-roll the 1s, bad example, 2 4s and a 2, then obviously that destroyer doesn't come up. So then you're looking to hope that you have more destroyers killed, so you have more dice to roll to try to get someone back up. So it's obviously a big impact on multi-wounded models. However, and I'm not sure where this information comes from, but a lot of people are saying that they believe that multi-wounded units, when they roll a successful RP roll, they'll actually get 2 wounds back as opposed to 1, which means if you had a heavy destroyer go down, let's say with 3 wounds, you'd only need 2 successful RPs to get it back, which would be better. And also, it might explain why Games Workshop said that the levels of RP will be different depending on the units, which, if you think about it, at the moment, we haven't seen that. It's a 5+ RP and can be manipulated to a 4+, and that's the maximum it can do. So how are they going to instigate this tiers of RP? And I think it could be by how many wounds you can actually get back for a successful RP. So you might find characters will bring back 3 wounds, and destroyers maybe 2 wounds, and then your warriors will be 1 wound. And I have a feeling they might do this via one of these new things that we've got coming, which we haven't heard about yet, maybe living metal, I know living metal previously was just on your character, but it could be now, like for example, if your destroyers are within 6 inches of a Scorpec destroyer, then they gain back 2 wounds as opposed to 1 for every successful RP. You know, something like that. That's what I'm thinking, because we definitely have been promised tiers of RP. So guys, what do you think of that? I've been thinking about it myself. I've been taking all notes from all of the comments from my video I did yesterday, and there were a lot of comments. I've replied to pretty much everyone, or at least their first comment. It's very hard to keep up on comments, especially comments of comments, but certainly everyone's first comment I've replied to. There are most likely still abilities that can bring them back. I think there is, and I have a funny feeling there may even still be a stratagem or something which will allow you to bring a dead unit back. So maybe like the Green Tide type of ability. I think potentially that could be around. Guilty, I left far too many comments because the whole RP topic was so exciting. Well, actually, to be fair, the more comments the better, to be fair, because the algorithm loves it, and that video's doing incredibly well for me. I know I've been putting out the Indomitus conversion videos, and to be honest with you, they haven't performed very well. They've been very poor for my channel. My channel's dying down with those videos, but that's fine. The whole idea of those videos, obviously, I wanted a series of videos which has a conversion for every single model in the set, but also B, whilst those videos have been scheduled and going in live, I haven't had to make any videos, which means I've been able to paint my miniatures. And for me, it's quite important that I get these miniatures painted before the codex hits, and things like the Void Dragon. I still have not got a clue how I'm going to paint that Void Dragon. It looks quite a scary miniature to paint, to be honest, but I'm sure it would be a lot of fun. For the algorithm, your conversions have been some of your best. Oh, thank you. I've put a lot of time into editing them, and I think, yeah, they have come out quite well. And also, where I've been making a lot of table down videos, as I call it, you know, just with the screen of the Games Workshop posts, I wanted to put myself in those videos as well, so that's why I added myself at the beginning, because I've got a lot of new subscribers and I wanted to sort of connect with them. And I think you mainly connect obviously when you're on camera rather than just seeing pictures and stuff. So yeah, I did go to town on those videos, and I'm quite proud of them, to be fair, but like I said, they haven't done particularly well because obviously they're not the hot topic. Nick, it doesn't matter at those videos are not the biggest hats. They do help the mauler get options and ideas. Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, there's another thing on YouTube which you have to consider. It's called evergreen videos. So that's people that's like search for stuff, you know. So hopefully in the future those videos will be found by people searching. Okay, there's another set of crystals done. This is like a never-ending pot of crystals. Hi all, hello Justin, I'm the miniature painter. How are you? Doing well, I hope. Now come on Justin, you keep promising me that you're going to start Necrons, but it's not happened. When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? There's no better time. Pre-orders go up on Saturday. Come on, Justin. No pressure, no peer pressure. Pre-order the Codex. Afternoon, Nick. What are you working on today? Today, I'm working on Necron crystals for the bases of my miniatures, which I'm just going to show you now because I know not everyone's seen it. I am working on over there 2 sets of Indomitus plus Illuminor. So Illuminor, let's talk about him. My goodness, this guy is fragile. I've snapped a few things even painting him sort of sub-assembly. He's very fragile, but he's a very cool miniature. And the guy on his base, in the end, hopefully it will focus. Will it focus? There you go. He's only half painted, but in the end I didn't exchange that guy. I thought just paint him red and he can be a blood angel. So he's some sort of blood angel priest in my mind's eye. Saves me converting him. Yep, he was a painted build, but great to paint. Yeah. Just finished my Indomitus. Awesome, well done, Kevin. Might take my Homebrew Dynasty out for a game at my LGS. That'd be cool. And obviously today is the Games Workshop post on the Homebrew Dynasties, which is going to be interesting to see that. Obviously we didn't get it in Psychic Awakening, and well, now we know why, because it's going to be in the Codex. Waiting for my brother to deliver my second Indomitus set before I start building them. Oh, good stuff. I'll be painting Scarbrand on my brakes at work today. Good stuff, yeah, painting at work. Sadly, I can't do it anymore because I need lights and magnifying glasses and all that stuff. Plus, I only get half an hour lunch break, so I find it hard to do much at work. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the RP rule notes, just make sure I've covered everything. More to come. Metal, rights of animation. Okay, yeah, so models are lost. So it does seem as if when a model is lost, it is lost forever for the rest of the game, which sounds so bad to some people because obviously a lot of Necron players only started in 8th edition. They don't know any different. But to be fair, it's only 8th edition that you were able to bring them back each turn, and whilst it's very good to have that ability, Necrons really have never had it before, so they're just going back to how it was. And yeah, I'm not too bothered about that. I mean, the fact that we can ream after every attack, shooting phase and assault phase, obviously not the psychic phase, but then we do have the Silent King's Dynasty to help us with things like mortal wounds if we need that, if that's the environment that you're playing in. So yeah, that's obviously a big change. Again, we don't know what else is coming, strats and stuff, so potentially there might be something there to help us with the RP rules. So the last little notes that I've got on here, which I'm glad I made because I never have remembered this. RP basically, or this new RP sort of rule that's just come out, has reminded me of 8th edition, when 8th edition came out, and I started making videos on the Necron Codex, the new Necron Codex that came out in 8th edition. And one of the big things that I made a video on, which it was a little bit controversial, I suppose, in some people's eyes, but it was about Reanimation Protocol. Well, basically, I was saying, don't rely or build on your RPs. You know, you have two choices when playing Necrons. Either you build a whole army around RP, you take the big units, you know, you take all the buffs and you build around it, or you ignore it and just think of it as a bonus. So if you get RP, great. You know, if you don't, it doesn't matter. So if you can build your army to play the mission and not rely on RP, then when you do get an RP back, then it's just a bonus. And that's what that video was all about. And in many respects, that video is so relevant now. You know, okay, yeah, RP may not be as good as it was, it may not be amazing, but if you build your army not taking into account RP, then if you get it, then it's a bonus and you should do well. Something to think about. But yeah, that's what I had written down on that page. Let's turn it over. So there's some comments. Yeah, that RP video was great, and that was good advice, Nick. Thank you. Lately, I've only been using RP by using the stratagem to give it to wraiths. Yeah, very useful. Hi Nick, just had a thought. Do you feel like 9th edition is getting rid of war gear options entirely? Necron seem to be getting a new HQ for each relic war gear option. That's a good question. Obviously, we have previously had cryptex with different pieces of war gear with the Royal Court. It just seems like GW are using this as an opportunity to make some cool plastic miniatures and get rid of that fine cast miniature. And I think there's a bigger picture to the cryptex and all the different war gear options. I think the thing to bear in mind is it probably makes it easier from the rules point of view, just to say, right, this guy has these options and they can make a model around it and it's all WYSIWYG. Whereas if they give you so many options and the model doesn't come with those options, or there's no facility to maybe magnetize those options on, then if you're playing in tournaments, you want it to be WYSIWYG. So maybe that's why. With so many new HQs, do you think we may be getting a special formation for them? I think absolutely. I think we will get the Royal Court back. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so next on my list of things to talk about is more about 9th edition. So I'm going to share a bit of my experience so far and what I'm hoping to happen in the future. If you're wondering why I've got 2 cups, I've got one with my coffee in and one with water in, because I find when I'm talking on live streams, I just really get a dry throat. The Plasmancer has done really well for me so far. That's interesting. Obviously, I haven't played with all the new models yet because I'm painting them before playing. Hello Nick, I'm new to 40k and want to play some Kill Team. Can you recommend a list? Okay, I can't recommend a list, but I can tell you that Kill Team is on the cards. I've got some exciting stuff for Kill Team, and I've got, let's reveal it now. I've got a giveaway about Kill Team coming on my channel at some point. But first of all, it's like Necron Codex, get this all out the way, all the new miniatures, and then it will be back to Kill Team. I love the Psychomancer, but I only fight my best friend's Tyranids. My destroyers are always far enough away to not get charged. Yeah, I think it depends who you're playing, doesn't it, as well? Because obviously I play Richard a lot, and he's all about getting in fast and quick and first turn charges. Yeah, it can be quite tough sometimes. Same with Deceiver and Scorpex. Royal Warden with 20 Gauss Reapers is amazing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing these new miniatures, and obviously once these are all painted, I'm going to be playing with Richard, Indomitus set against Indomitus set. From what I've seen, because obviously Richard has used some of his Indomitus models in his 2K list, and from what I've seen, I think the Space Marine half is definitely stronger than the Necron half in that set by itself. But we'll see, because obviously it's all about the mission, so we'll have to see. Good point, forgot about the Nightbringer. Okay, so let's get painting these again. So I've had 5 games of 9th edition so far, which isn't that many to be fair, but I have limited opponents. I played 2 2,000 point games with Richard. 1 is on the channel and 1 is coming with a battle report on Thursday. Both of those against Space Wolves. I've then played a 1,000 point game against Blood Angels and a 500 point game against Blood Angels and a 500 point game against Space Wolves, because I had some requests for 500 point games. The Space Wolf 500 point games coming to the channel next Monday, I believe. Hello, Sponge Hammer. How are you? Well, I hope. So yeah, I've had 5 games. I've won 4 of them, and I've lost 1. And the one I lost was the 500-point game. So it's going well so far with the Necrons, and obviously that is just with my 8th edition list. So nothing new there at all. Apart from I did try Gauss Reapers, but just as stand-ins, but I didn't really get to use them. So many crystals. Why did I make so many? So what I've noticed about 9th edition is the missions to start with. It seems to be all about the missions. And what I've also noticed is I think it is the most balanced game so far, purely on the fact that the missions are, well, obviously we're talking about match play here, but I think the missions are very even, the terrain is very even, and I think both sides have a chance. And you've got the secondary objectives, which I think also allows you to play against your opponent a little bit more. So it depends what your opponent is, what they have. You can obviously take your secondary objectives to help you score. So I think all in all, 9th edition is definitely the most fairest game so far out of all the editions. The only thing I don't like about it is it definitely seems more complicated. I mean, I know obviously 8th edition was really dumbed down, and I thought that 9th edition was going to be the same, but there's so much more to it now. And just looking at Necrons, for example, we've now got to select our command protocols before the game starts. You've got to do your secondary objectives before the game starts. You've got to allocate terrain traits before the game starts. Well, that's before you roll a dice. You've got to do all of that. So it's a lot more bookkeeping, and it seems like there's going to be a lot more things to remember whilst playing. But putting that aside, I've had a lot of fun with it, and I've been in the position of going first and not going first. And yeah, both. I think with both of them, there's a chance of still winning, regardless whether you go first or not. In the games that I've played, obviously it depends what armies you're against. I mean, there's some armies, especially if you don't have terrain. I mean, the terrain is so important. You've got to have the terrain there to be able to hide effectively, some of your army at least. The reserves coming in on the board edges, like a flank, that's quite interesting. It's quite good to have the tactical reserves. One key thing that I've noticed is the CPs, how many CPs we have, because so many CPs. Let's have a look. Honestly, I'd hoped that they would tweak 8th edition a bit. I wish Immortals could have 2 wounds. And yes, new RP is awful. Yeah, well, at least they're going to toughness 5. So, do you think the Codex will be good enough to stand the test of time during 9th? I very much doubt it. You know, Codex creep, it always happens with the first Codex. So, yeah, by the time all the other Codexes have come out, we won't obviously be anywhere near the top. Unfortunately, if Immortals were 2 wounds, they would be worse off with the new RP. Well, that's true. Speaking of that metal table, I could recast it in blue stuff for you. Oh, that's something else. Yeah, it's better off with toughness 5 instead of 2 wounds. Yeah, toughness 5 is hot. It is hot, and it's how they used to be. I mean, Immortals used to be toughness 5 previously when they were elites. So In my second game, I was pretty aggressive with my army, because the first game I wasn't able to be aggressive because Richard had first turn. If you've seen that battle report, Richard goes first, he brings 2 drop pods in, he's in my face, he's controlling all of the objectives, and I have no choice but just to sit there and basically shoot what was in front of me. Now, luckily, I shot very well, and I did whittle Richard down, allowing me to grab points afterwards towards the end of the game. However, the second game, I vowed, with the same list, I vowed I wanted to be a lot more aggressive if I had the opportunity, and I did have the opportunity because I went first. And I pulled off a move. I literally just used the Veil of Darkness, teleported some Immortals into the middle of the table, and used them to basically distract Richard more than anything, because they didn't really kill anything. And that is the thing with 40k, it's a bit like playing chess. When you're making a move, you need to look at the table for the next 1 or 2 turns. There's no good just thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to move that unit there and I'm going to shoot them, and then just do it. You need to think beyond that. You need to think, okay, I'm going to move that unit there, I'm going to shoot them, and then you need to think, right, if I kill all them, does that mean that this unit's out of range, or that unit's going to be out of range? So you need to look at your whole army, but then you also need to look to the next turn. It's like, okay, I'm going to kill them. If I do kill them, how vulnerable am I now? Oh, look, there's some long fangs over there. They're probably going to shoot these and kill these. So it's almost like an exchange, but not necessarily always an exchange of pieces, but an exchange of board control. So those Immortals that I put down, I knew they weren't really going to kill a great deal, but they were there to distract Richard, to draw his units into the centre of the table, especially those fast-moving bikes. I knew he'd bring those bikes in. Once the bikes were in the table, then I had other stuff to shoot the bikes with, rather than the bikes just zooming around the flanks of the table. Always going to lose them. It wasn't really about what they killed, it was about what they did for me for the rest of the game. Played ones with AP. Yes, I can show that comment. I don't know what's hiding some of these comments for. Hopefully flayed ones will be troops. I really hope they are. I really do. Played ones should be troop, but you know, Games Workshop. Yeah, we're talking of flayed ones. I played flayed ones in my 500 point game against the Blood Angels. You see, with 500 points, I always view those games as just a fun game. So I'm quite happy just to take unusual stuff, just experiment, have some fun. You know, I'm not really too bothered about how much damage or how much, if I win or not. Anyway, I took 18 flayed ones, and I took Imitate the Stormlord in 500 points, and then a unit of Gauss Immortals. The flayed ones were awesome, and that was without the buff of Imitech, because Imitech had to stay on an objective while the flayed ones went out. And I was in the Sotek dynasty, so not even Novok. And the flayed ones did really, really well. It was quite impressive. I've always known that flayed ones have been pretty good, but yeah, the new models, hopefully now with the new rules, are going to be a lot better. I feel flayed ones make a better meat grinder in close combat than Scorpec units. Yeah, obviously I've not played Scorpec units at the moment, so I can't comment too much, but I so envy Nick for his 60 metal flayed ones, but the new plastic one box looks nice too. Yeah, they do look awesome. They're a lot better than those fine cast, forgetting the fine cast material, the actual sculpts. So much better. Right, just going to check my notes. Okay, so yeah, secondary objectives and Necrons is the next topic that I want to talk about. So I'm personally finding secondary objectives actually quite good for Necrons, or at least 2 of them. So far, I mean, obviously it depends on what armies you're facing, but so far I've found, now I can't remember the new fancy names for these, but basically kill more units, because Necrons are pretty survivable. So there's a very good chance that you will kill more units, unless of course you're playing like an elite army or something. So obviously it's all subjective to the army that you're playing against, but that's obviously the great thing about 9th edition and secondary objectives. Yeah, and so far I found kill more to be very good for Necrons. I've also found that either hold more objectives, or table quarters, again I can't remember the fancy names, or table quarters has been excellent for Necrons, because again with the right units we can be pretty fast across the table, get onto the objectives or in quarters, and we're survivable once we're there. You know, put some wraiths on an objective, awesome. Now the only reason why I'm torn between table quarters and objectives, it depends on the army that I'm playing. So if I'm playing someone that has a lot of troops, then I'll go for table quarters. Although you have to get further away in a lot of missions to get into the opponent's quarter rather than on the objective, at least you know that objective secure units aren't going to outscore you. So if you go for objectives, if you go for the hold more, you can have like a unit of wraiths on there, and then some guy can just pop in a troops, you know, within 3 inches of the objective, and you've lost the objective. So I've had great success with both of those secondaries. The third secondary I struggle with, to be fair. I tend to take either the one where you have to kill multiple wounds. I think it's, I can't bring them down. I can't remember what they're called. But basically, yeah, the one, so if someone has tanks, then I'll go for the tank one. But what I'm hoping is when the Necron Codex comes out, that we'll have secondary objectives that will Titan Killer. Yeah, if you've got those, if they're on the table, then great. So what I'm hoping is that the Necron Codex will bring us some secondary objectives which are actually really good and useful, because, you know, when you went, I mean, I've taken, obviously, actually what I've noticed as well is it depends on the size of the game. So smaller games, those secondary objectives, you have to really look at closely, because sometimes they can be quite difficult to achieve. In the bigger games, it's a bit easier to achieve them. But yeah, secondary objectives, so important. You know, I think games will be won and lost on what secondary objectives you take. I really like Engage on All Fronts. Yeah, that's it. I've been playing that one quite a lot. So I think, yeah, like I said, I think for secondary objectives for Necrons, they're actually really good, especially getting 2 really good ones. And then the third one is, I find, a bit of a hit and miss. You don't tend to get so many points. I tend to go for the one which I can get the most points the easiest from, and that obviously depends on your opponent's army. Nick, do you think secondaries should reward having greater knowledge of the game as a whole? Potentially, but then you don't want to make it harder for new players to keep playing the game, just because a more experienced player can get the secondaries a bit easier. Right, let's have a look. Okay, that's that page done. Talked about that page. How about that? I still have one more page. Don't worry, guys. How long have we been going? We've been going for 1 hour. So is that all I've done in 1 hour? Okay, well, I knew it was a tedious job. That's why I'm doing it on the camera. We've got 97 people watching. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the 64 likes. Appreciate everyone liking it. And thank you for my usual phantom disliker who disliked it before the video even went live. Well done to you. Sewell, he says, the biggest change for me in the new scoring style is that I don't mind if my warlord dies. Back in the day, that one point may be the difference between a win and a loss. Absolutely, unless you're obviously your opponent chooses warlord, which, well, depending on the army, I suppose, that you're facing, it's unlikely they will. And that is good, especially with things like the Scorpec lords, so you can push them forward, you don't have to worry about them dying. Unless they took the secondaries for your warlord. Yeah, exactly. You're doing a great job, Nick. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Right, so let's get some more crystals. I've run out of pots with blue tack on, so I'm going to have to start taking these off. Now, what I need to do with these is actually take them off and turn them the other way and paint the other side. So I'm going to do that. I tried to buy a can. Yes, I know it's expensive, but I tried to buy a can of Caliban green so that I could just go outside and just spray these things. But they discontinued it, of course. So now I'm having to manually base coat them, which is a pain in the bum. Who keeps disliking Nick's videos? I told you it's my phantom disliker. Hey, we got another one now. Hey, 2 phantom dislikers. How about that? Oh dear, you got to laugh. That's fair enough. I know some people dislike me. I had a comment yesterday, I think it was, saying I'm like a herpes sore in the community. Please stop. That was the comment. I'm a herpes sore in the community. Please stop. So yeah, obviously I removed the comment. I didn't reply to it. They actually say the worst thing you can do to nasty comments is reply to them, because that's, once you do that, that sort of opens up for them to continue commenting, and it's like that's all they really want. They're after attention, effectively. So yeah, I just hide the comment from my channel, which is quite good, because it means that that person could be typing as many nasty comments as they like all over your videos, and no one gets to see it. So they're just wasting their time. Whereas if you, for example, block someone, that means they can't get to your videos to type. So yeah, just hiding that person from your channel is quite good. You are my greatest... Oh, I need to put this one up. Why is that hidden? You're my greatest inspiration. I am brand new to 40k and Domitus sucked me in. Awesome, thank you, sir. Well, hey, we have a new cryptech for my membership. Hello, Adianan. Adianan. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Welcome to my membership. I appreciate that. If you're not aware, I do have a join button just below the video where you can support the channel and become a member. Okay, so is this the best edition of Warhammer 40k? This is the question. Now, if you are a member, you will have access to my personal emojis, like these here. Let me just put some on. There we go, just so you can see that. Send. There you go, you get access to my emojis. So what do you think? Best edition of 40k so far? Yes or no? Put your thoughts in the comments box below and I will respond my thoughts. Let's see those comments. Excuse me. Nick, you need a sense of humour when you do with some of those, long as you keep us entertained. Yeah, and I try to bring my sense of humour into the videos. I know at one point I didn't, and I did become a bit of a robot. That's because I was having a massive change of how I did my videos and trying to up my game, and it took a lot of concentration. So that concentration ended up with me just not blinking and my personality not coming out. But hopefully I've moved past that now. I feel a lot more comfortable on the camera. Glad to be a part of it. I have been enjoying the videos a lot. Thank you very much. Like I said, it's awesome to have you with us. Depends if they buff the murder bucket unit size. If yes, best edition ever. Okay, this is my first edition, so I think it's the best ever. That being said, I've never played an edition this terrible. That's funny. I'm not sure. I'm still thinking 9th edition could be good. I think that's the thing. It is early days. As I said, I think at the moment it's the most balanced version of 40k, and obviously to balance that, we've got Crusade. So if you don't want to play those, that's one thing I found with the matched play, is it's almost so balanced. There's almost, it's not that there's no fun in it, but it's almost so balanced that you have lost a little bit of that thematic thing with it, which is obviously where Crusade comes in. Now, I know I've said I'm not really interested in Crusade and I probably won't do it, and that's probably just down to my gaming group, which is very small. But I think Crusade is good for the game, and I know a lot of people will like it, and I think it does add that fun factor to the game. So from that point of view, I think Games Workshop have done very well. In this edition, they're catering for the tournament scene, the match play, the balance of the game, and at the same time, they're catering for the, let's just have some fun with this game, you know, let's just set our models up, make the board look awesome, and let's play some fluffy, story-driven games. So I think from that point of view, it's the best edition. In terms of saying, is it really the best edition, I think I'm still holding judgment, because I think it is too early to say. And whilst the rules don't come into account in terms of the Necron rules, we are of course still waiting for the Necron Codex, and to experience the new Codex with 9th edition, I think will be how I will determine whether I think it's the best edition yet. Not in terms of I want a Codex which is going to absolutely pound my opponent, but just from the fun factor, really. How fun it's going to be to play this new Necron Codex on the table. So I'm holding judgment, but I think they've done a pretty good job so far. 7th was great, but had an ocean of odd rules interaction. I actually liked 7th edition. I liked Necrons in 7th edition because for me Necrons felt like Necrons in 7th, with the Decorium and the 4+ RP on everything that you took. Flayed ones with 4+ RP, just awesome. But yes, there was a lot of, you know, it didn't go in a great place, but I actually liked 7th edition, I have to say. Won't know till the damn Codex comes out. Yes, well, not long now. Later on, I will wait and see the Codex, as Nick says. Yep, thank you for popping in. Appreciate that. I'm probably not going to be here for too much longer. I'm just going to check my notes. Right. Okay, I think actually I've got all of my notes said. My very last thing on my notes is, for me, it's all about the new minis and having fun. And Absolutely. I mean, these new minis are just awesome. I can't wait to build them, to paint them, to get them on the table and just play something new, different and exciting for Necrons. You know, it doesn't get much better than that. And as I said earlier in the stream, if they're not like overpowered, it just doesn't bother me. The rules really are almost irrelevant. I'll be playing them regardless. And in some ways, not having it too overpowered is quite a good thing, because you know there's a lot of players that will be picking up Necrons purely for the fact that they're the latest powerhouse. And I like to see people play Necrons because they like Necrons, you know. Okay, so all my notes are done, so I'll just take some questions for a bit. We are looking now at 70 minutes, so let's do 5 or 10 minutes of questions, and then we'll wrap up. So does anyone have any questions for me? Best thing about 40k is in COVID world is now we go to houses and not the stores. So food and beer is cheap. Yeah, I've pretty much only played at people's houses anyway, mainly my house to be fair, because I've got the big setup here. We have Cujo painting in the house. Hello Cujo, hope you're well. I play Necrons because the Silent King is the true rightful ruler of the universe. Absolutely. Or Warpstone. Okay, I'm just going to let you put your comments in. And I'm going to turn these crystals over. Still got, well, probably about 25 crystals left. I have done quite a few crystals, but yeah, taken forever. Is the Forge World heavy construct worth having? I'm thinking of 3D. The Forge World construct is definitely worth having. It's an awesome miniature. It's a lot of fun to play. It's a lot of fun to paint, and it can do some nasty damage. Obviously, we're waiting for all the new rules, but yeah, I love it. I'm waiting for a potential invulnerable save on vehicles or something to keep them alive long enough. Well, the Vault has an invulnerable save, doesn't it? So that could definitely happen. What's your favourite snippet of the Necron lore? Oh, wow, Necron lore. I have actually been enjoying the Necron lore, which I know may surprise some people, but yeah, it's been exciting. I think GW have done quite a good job of making Necron sound cool. And I think just the Silent King coming back has got to be probably one of my favourite things, because it's about time. What do you edge the crystals with after? That's a good question. So after I've base coated them with Caliban green, I'll go in with Warpstone green on the edges, and then I'll go in with Mute green on the edges, and I'll use a 000 brush to do that. However, the War Games exclusive miniatures which I received from them, they had flat topped crystals rather than pointed ones, and I decided to just dry brush them, the same colours, but just dry brush them at the top to give like a glowing effect, and it worked quite well. I'm just wondering whether I might do that for these crystals, and to be honest, purely the only reason is quick, because edge highlighting one of these will take forever, and just dry brushing them will take just a few minutes. It does mean that my army will start to look a bit different, but then arguably you could say they're just different crystals from different areas of the Tomb World, and that's why they look different. What do you think, guys? Do you think I should edge highlight them all, match them into my old ones, or dry brush them and match them into my Wargaming exclusive models, which I have a few of them with these crystals on? Let me know in the comments box below what you think of that. I'll be very interested to hear. Nick, have you tried playing 40k on Tabletop Simulator? I haven't tried it. I just don't have enough time for video games or anything like that at all. I mean, last night I was replying to comments to the video that went up, and I was replying for 2.5 hours. Woke up this morning and I replied to comments for another hour. That keeps me busy. Awesome, thanks. You're welcome. Your channel's iconic. Necrons is my wife's favourite line to yell when I kill things on the board. Awesome. Okay, let's just see if we get any answers about how I should highlight these crystals, because I'm very interested. Dry brush or edge highlight? What are you going to do when my Necron phalanx is finally bigger than yours? Sell my 6 other armies and buy more Necrons. Actually, you've got a big surprise coming. You've got a big surprise coming. I'm not going to say another word, but keep watching, mate, because my army is just about to get a lot bigger. Super crystals, just do it the Necron way, easy, dry brush them. Dry brush, why not do both? Could do both. Okay, dry brush sounds, I've seen dry brush about 5 times and I've settled, I'm going to dry brush them. I think I will dry brush them. I've noticed, obviously you can probably see it, I've got some grey hair here. I'm not actually going grey, believe it or not. I'll tell you I'll tell you what this is. Just before the lockdown, I had alopecia, which is where basically your hair falls out. And I had like patches, like little holes. And then a few months later, the hair grew back, and it grew back white, which according to my hairdresser is very common. And apparently, over time, it will change back to its normal colour. So yeah, it's all a bit odd. I thought it was stress of lockdown at one point, but yeah, if you're wondering why I'm grey all of a sudden, because like 6 months ago I was not like this, but yeah, that's why. Or you're just getting old. I am getting old, but grey doesn't go like that, does it? It's like just literally like clumps of streaks of grey rather than just like speckled grey. No, I have got some grey hairs, but yeah, this is a result of alopecia, apparently. Stress waiting for the new Necron release. Yes, it's very distinguished. My hairdresser said I'm going to set a trend, and I have actually been asked, oh, you've been highlighting your hair. But yeah, that explains that, just in case you're wondering. It's Necron silver hair. Well, this is it. I'm changing into a Necron. Okay, guys. Well, I do appreciate everyone joining in. It's been awesome. Very good, cool, relaxed chat. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am going to cut the stream here because I need to get cracking with this. And talking and painting is definitely slower than just painting. So, thank you everyone for joining in. I much appreciate it. And at around 4 o'clock today, I believe there's going to be another preview. So I will probably be making a video about that. So expect another video later today. Beam me up.